I'm reading about Iyov today, understanding more of his story. And one thing that came to mind, caught my attention, is the very simple fact that Iyov, you call him Job, wasn't asking for anything. He wasn't out there to get a blessing, and he wasn't trying to get a curse. In other words, he wasn't trying to do anything. He was just minding his business, living his life, fearing God and shunning from evil. And it's important to understand that almost everything that happens to us has really nothing to do with us. So many people are praying and asking for blessing and do this and give me that, and why? Iyov wasn't doing any of these things. He was just minding his business. He was just doing what is just and right. Wherever he found himself to be, he was fearing God and shunning from evil. And he was already blessed because he was who he was. See, in the accusation, the first couple chapters, well, he only does this because you blessed him. Well, take away his blessing and see what he does. And of course, he remained the same. Blessing or no blessing, it was who he was. He wasn't doing it to get a blessing, and he wasn't not doing it to get a curse. And it is a very profound understanding to get that really all we are to do in this life is fear God and shun from evil. And that doesn't mean we're going to be blessed, and it doesn't mean we're going to be cursed. It doesn't mean anything. It just means it's what we are to do. It's the right thing to do. And with that will come a blessing, but there also might come a curse. You know, his friends made all of these accusations. Surely you've done something to get this. No. We have no idea. We cannot understand. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are the ways of Adonai higher than ours. We cannot fathom. We cannot think God's thoughts. We're tiny specks of dust. We're nothing, really. To think we can understand, we don't. That's why you have to trust in the Lord. To fear Him is the beginning of wisdom. To just obey His commandments. Don't worry about what happens to you. Remember that the Lord tests the hearts. That means that He's going to put you in a situation where you're going to do the right thing and suffer severely. And we see that all the time. Why does the righteous suffer? Shouldn't they be blessed? Well, they will be. Eventually. But until that day, are you doing what is just and right just because you want a blessing? Are you only giving me gifts because you want to sleep with me? No, that's what men do a lot, right? They try to seduce women. Women do the same thing. Try to lure men. There's no real love. They're just doing it for the benefit. You don't really care for me. You're just after my money. We see that with family members, right? You treat old grandpa, old grandma. You don't care for grandma. You just want the inheritance. Humans are very deceitful. Why would the Lord put His trust in a man unless He has a good reason to? So Iyov was severely tested. And think about it, that the Lord bragged about him. He said, "Have you noticed my servant Iyov? Oh, there is none like him on earth. Blameless, upright, fears God, shuns evil." Whew. Wouldn't you like the Lord to say that about you? Now that's what gets me going. Forget everything else. To make Papa proud. If you're a man after God, if you love him, Iyov was, he didn't do it for the blessing. He was blessed, but he wasn't doing it because of his blessing. And when the blessings were taken away, and he was struck with all kind of judgments and punishment, he lost all of his properties, and then he lost all of his children, and then he lost his health. He still did not sin. He didn't curse God. He didn't forsake his faith. He didn't say, I'm done with you, like so many people do. I'm done with prayer. What I need is an operation. I don't need prayer. Well, Iyov was righteous. He knew the reality of God, that he is in control, and he said it himself. Should we accept the good and not the bad? Like, who am I? I don't know. Who are we? Should we only accept the good as if we deserve anything? Naked I have come from my mother's womb, naked I shall return. We own nothing. Nothing is ours, really, so how can you ever complain that something was taken away from you? The Lord give, the Lord taketh away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And that was really the understanding that was revealed under his conditions. He always had that understanding, but now, because of the circumstances of loss and pain, his heart was revealed, the crucible, the furnace, testing the hearts of men. You can see what really is inside of you when you go through the fire. Anyone can pretend, oh, the Lord is good, oh yes. Is the Lord good, or are you just happy because you got $1 million in your account? What happened when all that money is gone and you're sick and you lose your job and you lose your house and your wife wants to leave you and your children are dead? Is the Lord still good then? To answer the question, he is. Because his goodness is not related, is not dependent on your conditions and situation. The Lord is holy. He is set apart. He's not a part of this world. The Lord is good, period. Even when bad stuff happens to you. That's not a reflection on God's character. Even when he puts judgment, is judgment bad? When he tests us, is testing bad? We have no idea. We have no understanding. As I said in the beginning of this message, who are we to criticize the Lord? You tiny, puny little human being? You think you are more righteous than God? Humble yourself. I've heard it many times. Many people say, why does the wicked prosper? If God is God, he's not doing a good job on this world. Shut your mouth. A wicked little speck of dust. The Lord did promise that the day is coming when you again will see righteousness in the land. And you will see the difference between the one who serves him and the one who does not. We have free will to choose our path, and he gives us time to make that choice, so that the judgment is not right now, but it is coming. There are judgments every single day. Sometimes it's a minor judgment, sometimes it's a major one. All you need to know is what I've already told you. Fear God, shun from evil. You're not going to understand. And that's okay, you do not need to understand. That's not a requirement. You just need to trust that when you suffer and when you go through things that do not make sense to you, you want to do what is just and right, and you just keep suffering. It's okay. Just keep on going. Just trust in the Lord, praise His name, sing and dance and worship and do what is just and right. Do what you already know to do. Even when there's a war going on in your head. And that does happen quite a lot, the battlefield of the mind. It's a spiritual war. We get oppressed. It's okay. Call on Him. Trust in Him. The storm is passing over. Iyov didn't really have to do anything. He just had to hold on. Think about that. He didn't do anything to come out of his calamity. He just held on. And when the time came, the Lord restored him. Think about that. He didn't stay down forever. He was restored. He was healed. His properties were restored, and he was given more children that were holy in comparison to the wicked ones he had before. But he didn't ask for any of it. He was given all of it. So let that be a lesson to you. You don't have to ask. The Lord knows what you need before you speak a word. Yeshua said, "Seek ye the kingdom of God first. Everything else will be given to you. You don't have to ask." Prayer is not asking. Can I get this? Can I get that? No, prayer just be in communication with your Father. Seek His word. Seek His commandment. Seek to do what is just and right. Remember, you're a servant. He said, "My servant Iyov." You're a servant. Your role is to serve the king. If you serve him, you don't need to ask for a paycheck. He's a righteous employer. He's going to pay you what you deserve. You don't have to beg him and remind him to sign. No, he's not a human being. He does not forget. Don't worry about it. You just do what you're supposed to and trust in the Lord. Hallelujah.